Hello everyone, and welcome back to my second video on my 10 HP Ultimate Iron Man Perverse. So if you missed my first video, I just talked about the general info about my account, what my plans were, the goals. So if you want to go check that out before this video, feel free to. But this is the first video that actually shows progress, even though it's the second video on my account. So when I first made my account, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I started off with some Hunter because I knew eventually that I would need 83 Hunter for a Amulet of Glory. So when I first spawned in, I went and sold all of my materials in my inventory for GP at the general store. And I then walked up to Varrock and completed the Natural History quiz for 1000 Hunter XP and 1000 Slayer XP. That got me to level 9 in both. Then I used the minigame teleport to head to Castle Wars and caught some birds until I hit 43 Hunter. So at this point, I had talked to another 10 HP or Iron Sea Ball, and he had helped me create a plan for my account. Basically, at this point, my main goal was to get to Wintertod because I can get easy fletching levels there, I can get construction levels there, and I can get GP early on, which is what I need. So my main goal right now is to get to Wintertod. To start this goal off, I got 5 thieving at the men in Lumbridge. I then walked up to Varrock, sold the feathers I had from Hunter earlier, and stole tea until I had enough food source to get through the security of Stronghold. I got through there fine with no problems and got my 10k. I then headed to Lumbridge and bought a iron and steel axe because before I started Wintertod, I wanted 50 fire making, 20 construction, and 20 fletching. So easy enough, 50 fire making right there. Next thing I needed was 20 construction. I walked up to the sawmill in Varrock, got a saw, hammer, and nails, and also bought a house in Remington while I was there. Then I went to Port Sarum, took the boat to Intrana, and walked over here and picked up the 2 planks and continued to hop worlds until I had a full inventory. Then I walked back to Port Sarum all the way over to Remington and built chairs until I had 20 construction. This went by pretty fast, it did not take long at all. After this, I decided that I needed to get 20 fletching, knocked that out easy enough. At this point, I also realized that I was going to need some kind of warm clothing to do Wintertod, so in my case, the best thing to do was to get the Clue Hunter. So I started grabbing the items that I was going to need to get the Clue Hunter outfit. I first started with the Super Anti-Poison Dose 1 that was located north of Castle Wars. Then I ran all the way over to Draenor and bought a spade from the farm shop. After that, I grabbed my alt so that he could scout for me, and I headed to the Edgeville Lever. I needed to get to the mage arena so I could buy a nature rune for the clue. I ended up getting through with no problem, didn't see anybody, got my nature rune, and got the fuck out of there. Once I got the nature rune, I used the lever again and went back to Artie. I then went north and snagged the boots and gloves while I was there. Then I headed off to Varrock and went to the shop earlier where I sold my feathers and bought leather boots, which is another item that I was going to need for future Clue Hunter. I then used the minigame teleport to Castle Wars and walked over south of Yanil to get the Clue Hunter cloak. A short walk later, I also snagged the Clue Hunter helmet, which is just south of Artie as well. After I got the helmet, I walked over to Port Khazard and used the charter ships to go to Port Sarum and then used the boat to get to Zaya. I ran over and snagged the chestplate. Then I walked back to Vales, went back to Port Sarum, used another charter ship to go to Brimhaven, walked all the way over to that Tybo One-Eye Trio bullshit place, ran past some Harpy Bug Swarms, and got the legs. Boom. Clue Hunter complete. Enough talking about Clue Hunter. Now that I was close to Brimhaven, I decided that I was going to get my food source. The food source that I was planning on using was pineapples, and the reason I'm using pineapples is because you can get them noted very easily by buying them from shops and using them on a tool leprechaun to turn them into notes. You can then, after each Wintertod game, run outside and use them on a bank and cut them to get a easy food source without having to lead Wintertod after every kill. I ended up buying 500, which by the way was way too much, and I knew it was going to be, but I still did it anyway because I'm an idiot. Realistically, you probably only need like 200, 300, probably even less unless you're really bad at Wintertod like I am. At this point in my account, I did try and go do Wintertod, and I quickly realized that you do need to complete Druidic Ritual to make the potions in Wintertod, so I got very sidetracked completing Druidic Ritual. In order to complete Druidic Ritual, you need the meats of 4 NPCs. Those are raw rat meat, raw bear meat, raw chicken, and raw beef. You can actually buy the raw beef and the raw chicken from shops, but you need to kill a bear and a rat to get the meat for that. In my case, the only way to do that would be to use a dwarf cannon, but I don't have 750k or cannonballs made at all. I could use a ring of recoil and just do 1 damage and take a little bit of HP XP. Or I could straight up take a shit ton of HP XP and just kick the monster to death, which I was not going to do. So I needed to get 20 crafting and 7 magic to make a ring of recoil. I started off going for 20 crafting. I completed Sheep Shear, Murder Mystery, and also completed Dwarf Cannon while I was there just to knock it out since it was on the way. I also completed Goblin Diplomacy. Goblin Diplomacy also gave me a gold bar, which I would need to create the Ring of Recoil. After those 3 quests, I went to Camelot and just picked flax and made bowstring to finish off 20 crafting. I now needed 7 magic. Since I was not going to complete any quests to get me that little bit of magic XP to go to curses, I needed to splash. I didn't have any range gear, so I couldn't just slap on some vambraces and some Iron Man armor. But thanks to Iron Seabell, I found out that if I wear the Ultimate Iron Man armor and a bronze kite shield from the Falador shield shop and don't wield a staff, I can get to a magic bonus of -65 and I'm able to splash. So I did that, bought some runes from Port Sarim, and just splashed 7 magic real quick. Then I had to head off to the Mage Arena again in the wilderness to get a Cosmic Rune so that I could cast an enchant spell on my Sapphire. I then went and bought a uncut sapphire from the gem shop in Alcarid and got a ring mold while I was there as well and made the Ring of Recoil. I decided to suicide an inventory full of teas by the bear and rat just to be safe. The last thing I wanted was to do damage, get HP XP, and then just end up dying because I ran out of food. So I did that just to be safe. I definitely did not need to do that. I had plenty of food, but I did it, like I said, just to be safe. So I ended up killing the bear and rat. I only got a little bit of HP XP, so it was no big deal. I then took all 4 of those meats, went over and completed Druidic Ritual. So at this point, I had 50 fire making, I had 20 construction, I had 20 fletching, and I had completed Druidic Ritual, and I had the food to do Wintertod. So I started the Wintertod grind. I won't bore you to death by showing you individual fire making levels. The big thing you need to know is that I got the pet at 35 kill count, and I got the dragon axe at 46 kill count. I'm not sure when I got the full outfit, but it was very early on as well. I think it was like 10-15 KC. A thing to remember is that these were all solo kills, but despite that, I still got extremely lucky. So when I got my pet, I didn't have the 500k GP to insure him, and I was very nervous that I was going to lose him from dying at Wintertod. But once again, Iron Seaball saved the day and reminded me that I could build a pet house in my player-owned house and store him there instead of having to insure him. So I headed over to my house, built a little pet house for him, and stuck him in there so I never lose him. While I was there, I also built the tool storages, which is really nice. And basically, I can just grab like hammer, knife, ring molds, aprons, saws, anything I could ever need is all in my house now, so that is very nice to get out of the way. In between doing Wintertod, I also decided that I was going to get 60 magic. All I did was just do curses and a little bit of splashing when I was playing Fortnite. I will eventually be getting 63 magic, so I can use a Wizard's Mind Bomb to get into the Magic Guild to be able to buy things like Nature Runes, Law Runes, Cosmic Runes, without having to run to the Mage Arena in the wilderness every time. But that's in the future. So, long story short, I finished Wintertod. Here's 50 construction. Here's 750k GP, and here's 69 fletching. 69 fletching was the last one I got, and it was the last requirement I needed from Wintertod, so I decided to head out and not bother with finishing 99 fire making, since that's not really the goal of my account at all. So the first thing I did after completing Wintertod was I needed to store my Pyromancer because I didn't want to just drop it. So I created a costume room and made a whole bunch of places to store items. I had slapped my Pyromancer in there and dropped all the other miscellaneous items that I didn't need in my inventory. I also found out that I don't need to keep the Pure Essence that I had from Wintertod because the Zaya library is actually faster than using the Pure Essence for rune crafting early on. So I was able to drop those as well. My next goal after Wintertod was to get 70 agility. So I started off by grabbing the Boots of Lightness to lower my weight. After the Boots of Lightness, I started to do some rooftops, and I stopped at 44 agility for this progress video. Now you may be asking yourself, why am I getting agility levels if all I want to do is train Slayer? Well, my plan for getting GP has changed completely. If you remember in my first video, I said that I was planning on going to Knights, but that since they might get nerfed, I might be changing my method of getting GP. Well, I made the decision that I'm going to runecraft blood runes for my GP. In order to craft blood runes, you need 77 rune crafting, 38 crafting and mining, and 69 agility for the shortcut. So at the moment, my main goal right now is to get to 69 agility and get full graceful, and then I will talk about what my next plans are in the next video. But either way, thank you everyone for watching. I know it's a lot of information, and I'll try to keep it as concise as possible. You know I don't like to release videos where I just ramble the whole time. Oh wait, that's every single one of my videos. So I try to keep this one a little bit different. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next progress video.